What's up, guys? Welcome back to the tournament where we are finishing the quarterfinals when it comes to the King of Spooks series. And today's episode is going to be Ghost Clown versus Phantom Shadows. Now, personally, I like the Phantom Shadows a lot more, but the Ghost Clown also has a lot of spooky tendencies in his own right. So, before we begin, I would like to say, like the video, comment down below, who do you think won? Who do you think will win, in case you haven't made it through the end yet. And then also subscribe to the channel because you guys don't want to miss when we make our second series or any following series. Plus, I do a whole bunch of other stuff. I really hope you guys subscribe to come and check those out as well. Let's begin with the Ghost Clown. So, in the episode Bedlam in the Big Top, the Ghost Clown was once an entertainer turned evil. He used his hypnotic coin and his ability to use hypnosis and circus tricks to get revenge on the circus performers in the Big Top. His creepy laugh, iconic hypnotic eyes, and twisted carnival setting made this one of Scooby-Doo's eeriest adventures, not including the ones we have already done so far in the tournament. Who didn't get chills when Daphne fell under his spell? Because even I sort of did. I thought that was a little creepy. His red nose, purple ruffles, and maniacal grin made him instantly recognizable, and they've still used it to this day for many monsters, in comic books, in TV shows, in everything, and in video games too. He's a very iconic monster. Facing him tonight are the twin terrors of a night of fright is no delight. And yes, I do have to have some script written down just so I can read some of this because it's kind of hard to remember. When Scooby-Doo inherits a haunted mansion with a whole bunch of other people under a colonel that he saved, and that is actually a thing they have went back to, and it wasn't Be Cool Scooby-Doo. I think it was Scooby-Doo and Guess Who. Which I thought was kind of interesting. I was like, oh wow, they're reusing the whole idea. Just, I think they used different. No, they use the same monster, just more updated. I was thinking of the cat creature from Scooby-Doo. What's New Scooby-Doo? The glowing green phantoms from A Night of Fright is no delight. Secretly kind of kidnap everybody that is in this will to inherit the haunted mansion, and they're actually some of Scooby-Doo's most iconic terrifying foes, which are really cool. I love these guys with their eerie glow, glowing echoing laughter, and the rattling of chains, which I do say is probably another iconic feature of these guys. This is definitely why they're in this, is because the rattling of the chains, the echoing laughter, and just how they look. They have been portrayed in also many different types of video games, TV shows, episodes, movies, everything, comic books, all that stuff. So let us begin with breaking them down through the 5 factors we set every monster through in this series to see who wins. And let's begin. So the first one is the fear factor. Ghost Clown, he has his hypnotic powers, does have a good laughter, and the mind control. He's creepy psychologically. The Phantom Shadows, however, are pure nightmare visuals. If I remember to, I will put in a clip of when they were haunting a guy in his bed. You just see the fear, like when he had the covers up, like hear the rattling of chains. And they also float around. They also cut when Shaggy and Scooby were up in a chandelier. They cut the cord holding the chandelier and like dropped them down. That's kind of scary. So for the first factor, I'm giving it to the Phantom Shadows. No doubt in my mind, I do get that with the Ghost Clown. Yeah, he watched the pretty coin of gold. I don't have a coin of gold here. And you could be a ballerina or a high trapeze artist. You could be a unicycle riding a ballerina tutu, or you could be a lion tamer. That's pretty scary, but those are outside factors. Those aren't stuff that the ghosts have done itself. and that's where I think the Phantom Shadows win with that. The design and style. Now, the Ghost Clown is bright, bold colors. Mainly his colors are orange, black, with the white face paint. He blends in really well with the Circus, which kind of gives him an edge. It's really even with it. The Phantom Shadows, however, dark cloaks, glowing faces, glowing green all over, the rattling of chains, as I've said many times, the floating, they could just be everywhere. They know the entire house like the back of their hand. I gotta give it to the Phantom Shadows again. Now, it's a simple design compared... Well, actually, no. Hold on, scratch that. The Phantom Shadows and the Ghost Clown, both are very simple designs. So, I'm still going to give it to the Phantom Shadows, just due to the fact that they are more eerie in their design. And I think... Now, I was honestly about to say, even for a costume design for Halloween, because we are coming up to Halloween, and that is hopefully when I'm going to end this series with our true King of Spooks. I think the Phantom Shadows would probably be cooler in a Halloween costume design than a Ghost Clown. A Ghost Clown would sort of be I mean, you'd see it a bunch, but a glowing green Phantom Shadows properly done, I think that would win in a contest. So I'm going to go Phantom Shadows with that, definitely. And now we're going to the impact and legacy. Now, the Ghost Clown is one of the most recognizable villains ever. We've already briefly discussed that he's featured in so much comic books, TV shows, video games, fan art. And I will put a bunch of fan art in this episode. I did that last episode, and I think I'm going to keep that routine going so that way you guys can see cool stuff you haven't seen before. And I know I'd missed that in the first two. But his whole motif screams Scooby-Doo villain. The Phantom Shadows, it's the same way. We had the Neapolitan Shadows, which I know the fandom just loves to make fun of. I do. Even when I saw it, I was like, there's no way they did that. They did. They're memorable, but used less outside their episode, if that makes sense. You don't see too much merch, a whole bunch of other stuff. Mainly, even in video games, they are used as sort of henchmen to a degree. I'm trying to think. I think it was Scooby-Doo and Night of 100 Frights, or Scooby-Doo Unmasked Mayhem. That they had like the Phantom Shadows as the villain henchman, like the basic guy. And that's, if this is the case of how we're doing it, I'm giving it to the Ghost Clown due to the fact that he is more, for the Ghost Clown being more of a overall boss than the Phantom Shadows in the impact and legacy. Like, I think people would be able to pick him out more than the Phantom Shadows if you put two posters up and said which one is a Scooby-Doo villain. Not telling them that they both are, but you know, just picking them out. They would probably say the Ghost Clown over the Phantom Shadows. The story strength of the episode, so the Ghost Clown, Bedlam in the Big Top, it's a very tight-knit mystery. I mean, same with the Phantom Shadows, but we'll do that here in a second. I think it was still missing a couple things in that episode when I rewatched it. I think it could have been better. The Phantom Shadows in A Night of Fright is no delight. It's one of the most iconic episodes, and I think I've even used the picture of the Colonel's mansion in a different episode, but I still think the gothic tone, the inheritance plot, plus the eerie setting of the whole episode, I think that story is way better than a haunted circus. Don't get me wrong, a haunted circus can still be scary, but the whole tone and atmosphere and story for the Phantom Shadows wins them. And then the final of them, the difficulty to catch, I'm going to swap it up. So the Phantom Shadows, were spooky. I loved the chase, and I loved how they captured him by getting him launched right into a washing machine, and then they hung him up to dry for when the cops got there. That was pretty fun and cool. But one of the more unique aspects of a Scooby-Doo mystery is the uniqueness of their catch. And yes, that was unique, but when it came to the ghost clown, they pretty much, the gang flipped it on him. They used the ghost clown's own tactics against him, which I think really helped them, and I think made it way more unique and way more cool. So I'm gonna give that to the ghost clown. And in the final, tallying it all up, we got the Phantom Shadows taking the fear factor, the design and style, and the story strength. The ghost clown wins the impact and difficulty to catch. That makes our final winner the Phantom Shadows. Now, the ghost clown did have a lot of good, it could have tied with it, but I still think the Phantom Shadows will win. So yeah, the Phantom Shadows float into the semifinals to face none other than the Creeper. Now, I think that's going to be a really good episode. Meanwhile, on the other side of the bracket, Spooky Space Kook and Captain Cutler are ready for their own chilling clash. Which of these 4 legendary monsters will rise to the top? And don't forget to subscribe. Comment down below if you thought the prediction was right, if you got it right, thinking that it was going to be Phantom Shadows, or should have Ghost Clown win. And the semifinals of the King of Spooks begin next week on Wednesday. The rest of this week, we also have another What If on Saturday, and I'm even doing a fan fright, which is a special requested King of Spooks episode between the Mummy of Anka and the Caveman. I'll probably do that either Thursday or Friday, so I hope you guys come and watch that, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.